And we're back. It's Crimbus time. Casual gaming news style. A decent amount. We have to cover 2 weeks because last week was Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So we have to cover a couple weeks here. But we're going to go quickly. Like I was saying earlier, before I started recording, there's a lot of things to do tonight on stream, as well as I would like a shorter edit for this one. So we're going to not rush, but we're going to just get through some stories today. And we're going to start with the big stuff, like usual, then the smaller things, then the chat picks. And that's the order. A lot of layoffs this week, a lot of studio closures, things shutting down, winding down, stuff like that. So let's start with that category of stories right off the bat. Humanoid Origin Studio is shutting down. So this is Tom Ivan VGC. So Mass Effect Trilogy director Casey Hudson's studio is shutting down. They were working on some sort of AAA narrative-based story game that I think they started in like 2022 or something. Where is it? 2021. It was founded by Hudson and a team of game industry veterans in 2021. The first game was going to be a multi-platform AAA title focused on character-driven narrative. So it's pretty obnoxious and annoying that another studio is shutting down. This one didn't even get to do anything. Earlier today, we informed our staff that Humanoid Origin will be shutting down. Despite efforts to shield the studio from broader challenges in the industry, an unexpected shortfall of funding left us unable to sustain operations. We're heartbroken that we will not be able to bring our new science fiction universe to completion. Our main concern at this time, however, is for our team, and we are committed to supporting them in their transition to new employment. Again, they didn't even get to put anything out, unfortunately. He directed and produced the original Mass Effect trilogy and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. He left the company a second time in December 2020. So sad. And then another Mass Effect veteran, one of the main writers, their name was Mac Walters. This is Jordan Midler, VGC, who also attempted to start their own studio, Worlds Untold. They have now paused operations. They're not shutting down yet, but their operations have been put on hold, basically. They put out a statement. It's hard to find the right words for this, but I wanted to share that we've made the very difficult decision to pause operations at Worlds Untold while we search for a new partner to help bring our vision to life. This was not a decision we made lightly. It's been a deeply personal journey. We're so proud of everything the team has built together. So they were working on something similar. They announced last year a AAA action-adventure game with an emphasis on narrative. It's a very similar idea, which again makes sense coming from people who worked for Mass Effect. They were a senior developer on both Mass Effect and Dragon Age series. And what else did they do? A prominent member of BioWare for nearly 20 years, initially joined the company in 2003, was a writer on Jade Empire before becoming senior writer on the original Mass Effect. Like, these people have proven themselves already. Later lead writer on Mass Effect 2 and 3, narrative director on Anthem, well, that's a red flag. Creative director on Mass Effect Andromeda, and project director on Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So this person worked hard on Mass Effect. It's so lame that these people who are proving themselves haven't been able to create the things that they wanted to so far. We'll see how these go here. And that's pretty obnoxious. Next, Ilphonic. We'll go to Ilphonic. This is Tom Ivan VGC. Ilphonic seems to be not shutting down, but laying off people. They made Predator Hunting Grounds, obviously. A statement posted on X, the CEO and co-founder Charles Brungart said, "Today we had to accept the harsh reality that the state of the industry has impacted us here at Ilphonic. It's with the heaviest of hearts that cuts to our teams had to be made today as we realigned to a refined strategy. There's a lot of talent in the group, and if you or your team is hiring, please reach out so people can be connected to the open rules." I don't think there's any numbers from the last 3 stories that we looked at of people being affected. I think they're all going to be estimates on that Video Games Layoff website. So far, around 14,000 employees have been laid off this year. We'll get to the Ubisoft stuff in a second, because we'll probably do that next. So they did, founded in 2000, Predator Hunting Grounds and Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. So I'm wondering, I didn't see anything about Ghostbusters shutting down or Predator Hunting Grounds shutting down. But they're just laying off people. Again, no number yet. Hopefully at least Ghostbusters stays alive. Because I would like to play that game a little bit more before it becomes dead. Let's move on to Foam Stars, Chris Scully and VGC. Foam Stars not shutting down so far. They're just announcing no new content. In this concluding update, expansions will be introduced to enhance gameplay, such as the ability to customize shots of each character, and new enhancement elements such as prism gems. All animation players can continue to enjoy the game for the foreseeable future. This is a statement from Square Enix. The game is going to continue to run, but the Party Goes On season, which starts December 13th and lasts until January 17th, will be the final new season of content. So no new content, but they're expected to keep supporting it for as long as they can, I assume. They're saying, it says somewhere in here that they were like, oh, this one. In a letter to players, the game's producer, Kosuke Okatani, thanked fans for playing and said he hopes they will continue to enjoy Foam Stars for many years to come. So they're wanting to at least support it for as long as possible. We'll see. I don't know if Foam Stars has what it takes. I haven't seen anyone playing this lately at all. I think there was a couple days when it first came out, but since then, nothing, which is ominous. So let's go with now we'll go with Ubisoft. So last time we talked about how, why did this go back? Oh, because this one, hold on. I just realized that the pumpkins are still over here. Fixed. It's fixed. But last time we talked about how Ubisoft was saying, oh no, we don't have no plans of shutting down XDefiant. There's no plans. They're denying it up and down. But hey, guess what? They announced that they're shutting down. Not that it's funny that they're shutting down, but it's funny how in denial they were about it. This is Andy Robinson, VGC. Following months of denial that the shooter was in trouble, Ubisoft announced on Tuesday, this was Tuesday of this week, has made the difficult decision to discontinue development in XDefiant. Despite an encouraging start, the team's passionate work, and a committed fan base, we've not been able to attract and retain enough players in the long run to compete at the level we aim for in the very demanding free-to-play FPS market. As a result, the game is too far away from reaching the results required to enable further significant investment, and we're announcing that we will be sunsetting it. So as of Tuesday, new downloads, player registrations, and purchases will no longer be available for XDefiant. The game Season 3 will still launch, and servers will remain active until June 2025. It's pretty wild because of how long this was easily in alpha or beta, way longer than it was released for. So then, because of this, several satellite studios are being shut down. That's how this fits in here. So almost half the XDefiant team worldwide will transition to other roles within Ubisoft, but San Francisco and Osaka production studios will close, and city production site will ramp down, with 143 people departing in San Francisco, 134 people likely to depart in Osaka. So that's 2 Ubisoft studios or satellite studios shutting down. So they also delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows. We know about that. They're trying to improve Star Wars still. Concluded, developing games as a service experiences remains a pillar of our strategy, and we've achieved significant success like Rainbow Six, The Crew, and For Honor, among others. It's a highly competitive market, and we'll apply these lessons learned with XDefiant to our future live titles. It's pretty odd, the people that are still trying to force games as a service, live service games, microtransaction games in like down our throats, when it's just studio after studio, layoffs after layoffs. Like, everything's just going to shit when you're pumping too much money into these games that just like aren't that good. Like, they're just not, like, XDefiant was fine. I played a lot of it when it was in alpha beta. It was fine. It wasn't the greatest FPS game, but it was just fine. It was like super generic. The idea was cool. It had the different factions across the Ubisoft like universe of games, like fighting each other. But at the end of the day, it could have been like a Rainbow Six mode, like how Overwatch has all these extra modes and shit. If they had just put that in like Rainbow Six as a different mode, that would be so cool if they put that in there every once in a while. Let's talk about continuing with Ubisoft. Tencent seems to be trying to take a little bit more control over Ubisoft right now. The original article, this is Andy Robinson, VGC, but the original article was on Bloomberg, on Reuters. So let me link the Reuters one as well. But we're gonna go off the VGC one right now. And it was Amy Jo Crowley and Julie Zhu from Reuters for the original story. But basically what's going on is Tencent is getting really fed up with how Ubisoft is running things. And they're not really trying to take over, is a little bit of an exaggeration. They're really trying to have more say in what goes on, because they just very much don't like how it's being run, because everything Ubisoft is doing is not working right now. All the new stuff is really not working. So claims that Ubisoft shareholders are considering how to structure a possible buyout of the company without reducing the Guillemot family's control. Tencent is claimed to be undecided over whether to participate in the buyout and increase its stake in the company, reportedly because it has asked for greater say on future board decisions. Discussions between the two are ongoing, as Tencent also wants to prevent any possible hostile takeover of Ubisoft by other investors. And like I said, Ubisoft shares are dropping. They said we remain committed to making decisions in the best interest of all our stakeholders. In this context, as we have already indicated, the company is also reviewing all of its strategic options. So they're still trying to talk about putting the company private, but Tencent's also really trying to take a lot of control over. They want a lot more say, which is wild because Tencent also owns so much of gaming right now. Who knows? This is still like these talks have been ongoing for months now. So hopefully something comes out of it that Ubisoft is better. And hopefully Ubisoft in general doesn't just completely shut down. It would be cool if things just get fixed. Just fix it. Look how easy it is. Just fix it. Just do it. But yeah, this will be a pretty large shakeup if something like what Sony comes out. We're gonna buy Ubisoft. Wild. Let's continue on to, there was a recent Windows update or more Ubisoft stuff, where this is still under the umbrella of Ubisoft. There was a recent Windows update that basically fully breaks some of the Ubisoft games right now. This was as of like a week or two ago. Windows 11 version 24H2. This is also Chris Scully VGC. As the third major update to Windows 11 since the operating system was released 3 years ago, it's been rolling out throughout the month. Players with access to the update have been noting for some time, particularly those who had preview access since the summer, that some Ubisoft games no longer work with the new update installed, and Microsoft has now acknowledged this. After installing Windows 11 version 24H2, you might encounter issues with some Ubisoft games. These games might become unresponsive while starting, loading, or during active gameplay. In some cases, users might receive a black screen. It's so bad that they put out a patch, not to fix it, but more to prevent your computer from automatically updating if you have one of these games installed on it. It's the last like 3 or 4 Assassin's Creed games, the Avatar game, and Star Wars Outlaws. So those games, if you have them installed, your computer will not, if it detects it, it will not update to the new update. I think there was a patch for, temporary fix for Star Wars Outlaws, who already installed the update, but notes it's not perfect and there will be issues the proper solution rolls out. I don't think there's any update to this yet, but any of you gamers that have these games listed and have already done the update, the game might be borked and you might not be able to play it. So I assume at some point they're going to fix it, but for right now, there's still no fix. Great. It's great. Moving on from this kind of stuff. How should we do this? Because there's 2 stories that are kind of related. Let's do this one first. So Shuhei Yoshida is now leaving PlayStation after 31 years. This was on the official PlayStation blog, which is like a giant, I think, Q&A. But this story, Andy Robinson, VGC. But this is the PlayStation blog, which was like an interview. It's pretty long, but the man, the myth, the legend, Shuhei Yoshida is leaving, saying it feels like it's the right time to leave. 31 years at PlayStation. I'm leaving Sony Interactive Entertainment on January 15, 2025. It's like announcing the launch date of a new game, something I haven't done for a long time. I've been with PlayStation from the beginning, and this is my 31st year with PlayStation. And when I hit 30 years, I was thinking, maybe about time for me to move on. You know, the company's been doing great. Joined the PlayStation project in 1993, a year before the release of the original console. He went on to become the president of Sony Computer Entertainment, now known as Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide. Currently serves as head of SIE's Independent Developer Initiative, where his role has been to look after and nurture external, smaller independent studios. Asked what his favorite memory from his time at PlayStation was, Yoshida said, the game company's journey was a highlight. One time stood out for me in my memory as something really, really special was when Journey got the Game of the Year award. I didn't know that's what that was called. Journey was distributed throughout PlayStation Network. It was a digital only small game. You can finish playing the game within like 3 hours. But that game won Game of the Year against all these AAA games. I think for the first time in the industry, with the creator Genova Chen did a talk at the summit, and he talked about a letter he received from a girl who lost her father, and she thought about her father and she was able to move on with her life. All I stood up in the whole room was filled with happiness and amazing feels. And some of you people are old enough to remember when Journey won Game of the Year. That was such a wild time. What were the other games that year? Let me check. Let me do a quick search here. This was when 2012. It wasn't with the regular Game of the Year awards, was it? All right, let me see. Because it's saying Walking Dead won, but best PlayStation 3 game, best original score, Junior won a bunch. So it was up against The Walking Dead, Halo 4, XCOM, New Super Mario Bros. U. So not too much in there. So one of the big names in console gaming is leaving next month. It's sad, but like 31 years, that's a long time. You know what I'm saying? And then speaking of 30 whatever years of PlayStation, it's 30 years of PlayStation. So on their website, they have a little thing. This is directly on their website where you can like go through their history, which is pretty cool. For the 30 years, you got the original console. You can look at stats and stuff. Japan release, North America release, European release. This is what it looked like, gamers. This is what console gaming was in the early 90s. I had one of these. And then you can watch the little videos. Like their little commercials and shit. The embedded player is not great. But this is pretty cool to like scroll through to see all the stuff. 102 million consoles from 94 to 2006. Look at the games. Final Fantasy. What the fuck is that? I don't know what some of these are. Tekken. I don't know what this is. This looks familiar. I don't know what that is though. What is it? Maximum color depth of 16 million true. What? Games on a CD. Wired controllers. Guys, controllers used to have to be wired. There was a time when there was no such thing as wireless controllers. The freaking CRTs. And had different form factors. You had the little tiny one. I remember when the PlayStation Classic came out. I wanted to get one. I never did. The PS1 was pretty cool too. And the little screen. I remember the little screen. There was also before sticks. There was no sticks on these. It was a wild time. And they had different colors eventually. The memory cards. Oh, Parappa the Rapper. It was Ridge Racer. That was the one that looked familiar. Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, Crash Bandicoot, Gran Turismo, Oddworld. I had some of these games. I had Tekken. I had Tomb Raider, Resident Evil. I had Crash, Oddworld. I had. And then you can look at all the other consoles as well. PS2. I think this is the highest selling console ever or something like that. One of those. 2000. 160 million consoles sold. Wild. Anyway, you guys can go through this at your leisure. I had all of these except for I didn't have PlayStation 3. I skipped that one. But yeah, it's a really cool thing to go through. 30th anniversary for PlayStation. Really cool. That PS5 that came out. Super sick. I wish I had one. But let's move on to the smaller newses. Anything relative to what we're doing? No. So starting here, Microsoft / Xbox has released something called Edge Game Assist. So like while you're playing games, you can basically pip in a browser. This is Chris Scully in VGC to like help with the game. And like, so you can like search how to do stuff, which is pretty funny because when the Xbox One originally came out and everyone was like, oh, it's basically like a cable box so you could pass through your TV and stuff like that and picture everything. You could just do this. You could just picture the browser or YouTube and stuff like that and just have it on the side. So they're kind of going back to it a little bit. But the cool thing about this is they have something called game awareness? Game aware support, so that if it detects the game that you're playing, it can show exactly like what the game it is and where you are. Yeah. So like this specifically. So they're here, they look up a guide and it puts them directly like in the top right, directly where they are to like help you find collectibles and shit. So there's not every game has the game aware support, but every game should work with the picture-in-picture mode. So you're basically opening up the browser to help you with your gaming, with your 100%ing and your tutorials and your walkthroughs. So although Game Assist can be used to bring up an Edge browser while playing any game, at launch it has game aware support for 9 titles: Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Fortnite, Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, League of Legends, Minecraft, Overwatch 2, Roblox, and Valorant. Side note, if you guys didn't know, the Xbox yearly wrap-up also was released. It was broken earlier when I tried to access it. So there, that's it. If you want to go look at your Xbox 2024 in review or whatever, go to the Xbox site. Next, speaking of Baldur's Gate 3, we have a couple updates here. So they've released a patch or an update that limits the amount of mods you can have for console, because apparently people that were that were downloading over 100 mods were having issues running the game, or the overall Xbox itself was running slower. This is Chris calling VGC. With the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of the game have support for mods, developer Larian has noted that players with more than 100 mods active are experiencing slow loading times or even game crashes. To combat this, it's rolled out a new hotfix which implements a limit of 100 mods for the console versions to prevent more issues from occurring. I don't know what someone is doing with 100 mods. Like, what could they need 100 mods for? But they're limiting that, which I guess is fine. Who needs more than 100 mods? Who needs more than like 5 mods? I don't know. I guess there's a bunch of small mods that you can add. But yeah, don't download too much on the fucking consoles. This was announced on their blog post or something. Another announcement from Larian about Baldur's Gate, Tom Ivan VGC, for the crossplay and subclasses and photo mode next year. These new features will be introduced to the game in 2025 as part of its 8th major patch. It's adding crossplay, 12 new subclasses, and a photo mode. I think this was announced earlier as well, but now it's more official. Whether you're joining PS5 players from your PC or jumping into a game with Mac users from your Xbox, Baldur's Gate 3 multiplayer will soon feature full cross-platform progression, including crossplay, just as the gaming gods intended. Patch 8 will also add 1 new subclass for each of the game's existing classes. That's a lot. That's so much. And then Baldur's Gate 3's photo mode, so you can like position your characters and have them do things so you can do lots of fun photos with them. That's fun. This is like this is a case of a developer consistently supporting their game and making it better. Like, even though it was great at launch, did real good numbers, did very highly reviewed, they just keep making it better. I mean, it would have been cool to have all these things at the beginning, but like, if you're gonna hold off on something for a game like Baldur's Gate 3, full crossplay and cross progression, that's fair. So now people can jump back into it that have been playing by themselves with their friends that have the game on different consoles or different platforms. How awesome is that? Next, a couple even smaller stories. The launcher for 2K is now unsupported and is shutting down. So if anyone has any games from 2K on their computer that have the 2K launcher, they're removing it, which is awesome. Let's get rid of all these launchers, please. Thank you. This is Andy Robinson, VGC. It's removed its launcher from all PC games. In a blog post Tuesday, 2K said the launcher has now been removed from every game that used it on Steam and Epic Game Store. Also removed 2K Launcher Beta, a completely separate launcher, from Sid Meier's Civ 5. But there's also some other things. So 2K said, we've done the heavy lifting, but to take it all the way home, there might be one step left for you. First thing is to try closing and reopening Steam. That means completely closing and not just using the X. So they removed it, but still you need to like restart your Steam and X. So like people like some people that we know just refuse to turn their computer off and just have everything running at all times. So someone like that would have to restart their computer or restart their launchers and stuff like that. Something that most people just do because like it's good for the computer and it just makes things run smoother, to just fully close things or restart your computer every once in a while, turn it off, you know. But you know, some people like to just leave everything on at all times, just full 100% at all times, which I guess is fine, but I could never. That would never be me. There's no way. You know how much energy these things use? These things are so powerful. Anyway, next, small things inside Silent Hill 2 remake, remaster, whatever. This is PC Gamer. This is Jody McGregor. So players have been noticing and decoding some Easter eggs and stuff in the game, such as there's these TVs around the game with like static, but if you listen closely, there's like patterned clicking, which people have decided were Morse code, and they've translated it to little phrases like "you've been here for 2 decades," or "again and again," or "why did you do it, James?" Some stuff like that. And a lot of these types of puzzles and Easter eggs are all around the game, sparking the conspiracy theory that the Silent Hill 2 remake is actually not confirmed. This is just internet people being internet people. That Silent Hill 2 remake is actually not a remake as much as it's a modern sequel to the original Silent Hill 2. People are saying that it's just a loop. He's just running the same events over and over and over again. Not everyone agrees with it, but there are rumors that that might be the case as to why all these little Easter eggs are around the game. It's because it's actually a sequel, which honestly would be pretty cool. That'd be a pretty good way to do it. Imagine releasing a remaster in basically the same game, but it's like, no, secretly it's a sequel. That'd be pretty cool. Moving on, EA has added some more accessibility patents to the world. And by to the world, I mean they are letting anyone use these patents free of charge with no lawsuit, no threatening of lawsuits. So anyone can use it. They made 23 more of its accessibility patents free for any studio to use. This is Chris Scully VGC. That's awesome. So things like intelligent personalized speech recognition, generating expressive speech audio from text data, generating speech in the voice of a player of a video game, voice aging using machine learning, motion-based music style change using deep learning, dynamically selecting speech functionality in client devices. So a ton of patents they have, and everyone can use them. This has grown to 15 patents over the past few years, and now a further 23 have been added, bringing the total to 38 patents. That's awesome. Everyone should do this. If they're creating something that benefits everyone, why not just give it out? Why not just give it away for free? Who cares? That's awesome. We know a lot of accessibility gamers out there, and whenever it makes their gaming situation easier, I'm 100% behind every time. The last of the small stories, Balatro on mobile is doing numbers as expected. Pocket Gamer, this is Aaron Astle, doing 4.4 million on mobile. Originally, they weren't doing so good. There was a decline from, what was that, September? They were declining. Like this past month was their lowest month ever. And then all of a sudden there's a surge, which is wild. So where does it say? Following a spending surge last week, Local Thunk's debut game has overturned a 6-week decline and suddenly surpassed the $4 million mark. So what I wouldn't be surprised, it doesn't say it in here. They didn't pinpoint a reason why it would randomly surge like that. But they're saying, allegedly, the announcement that it's nominated for 5 awards at Game of the Year, or the Game Awards, people are trying it. But it also could be as simple as, because it was announced to be in the Game Awards, a lot of times one of these popular content creators, like crazy popular content creators like YouTube or Twitch, starts playing the game on their content, and then all their followers start buying the game. That's probably what happened. Newsflash, or breaking news, it was also on sale apparently. But was it on sale on mobile? Let's think, because this is specifically mobile, I believe. But who knows? They may be fudging some numbers in a little bit. But that's cool. I still haven't played this. I might play it eventually, because there's also Inscription, another card game that is very highly recommended. I need to play that as well. Who has time anymore? You know what I'm saying? Moving on to chat picks. If you're in the Discord, you got some chat picks here that you can add. First one is Google trying to sell Chrome, or being forced to sell Chrome. This is PC Gamer. This is Jess Kinghorn on PC Gamer. It's a pretty long and very, not confusing, but like technical story. Yeah, the Department of Justice is trying to break up Google, similar to what they did, or they tried to do with Microsoft in the beginning of the online searching era. So Google's accused of trying to monopolize the current state of online searching and advertising. So they're trying to break them up and forcing Google to also not do any more search engines for 5 years. I don't think anything's set yet, but that's what the current lookout is right now. So earlier this week, it's reported that the U.S. Department of Justice top antitrust officials would likely ask a judge to enforce a significant breakup of Google, in part proposing that Chrome be sold off. The official paperwork has since been filed, and we can now see the authorities' plan is even further reaching than initially suggested. Though you won't see me being the writer, shedding tears. Not only will a judge be asked to enforce Google's sale of Chrome, but the filing made to a Washington federal court also outlines that following its divestiture of Chrome, Google may not re-enter the browser market for 5 years. It's kind of arbitrary. I don't know why they put a hard date on that. It's so weird. The proposal also calls for Google to be prohibited from acquiring any interest in search rivals, potential entrants, and rival search or search ads related AI products. So again, Google trying to monopolize online, basically buying and selling AI, buying and selling users' data, and they're trying to kind of put a stop to that. I don't think it's saying specifically Android is still fine for now, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Fuck them. I say fuck them. Do it. Make them do it. Next on the list, there's a recent, I don't know if there's an update to this. Someone in chat can confirm if there's an update to this. This was a couple days ago, so I would assume at some point the company NZXT might have made a statement on this or changed something, but NZXT is being real shitty. NZXT has put out a statement. Please, if you could link me that statement, that'd be sick, because I didn't have time to check for a statement because I had assumed that it would have happened. This is Tech Times, Isaiah Richard. I think there was a video. There's plenty of videos talking about this, but the TLDR is they came out with this gaming PC rental thing where a lot of content creators were pushing and were being paid to like advertise on their channels. They made it seem as if it was a rent to own type deal, which in all of the fine print there, you don't ever own it. You end up paying like, cause it depends how long you have it for. So like, even if you pay off more than what the computer is worth in parts, it's still theirs. You're still only renting it. There's never an own option. So even if you're paying $7,000 at the end of the whatever rental period you have for a $1,300 computer, like they have you can't do anything about it. There's also, you can swap out parts, but sometimes the parts aren't the like same spec'd out parts that they say they are. If you give them your hard drive and there's still stuff on it, they get to keep and sell whatever information that's on that hard drive according to the fine print. So you best make sure that that hard drive is fucking empty because they will do that. Yeah, so they're working really hard at making sure the people that can't afford a full gaming PC are going to spend more than the people that can. Post the article. Okay, let me go grab that real fast. Thank you, chat. Dorkrin. Yeah, so there was an hour-long Gamers Nexus video about it. I watched like the first 20 minutes and like the last 20 minutes just to get like the idea of it because I didn't have the time to watch the full hour. Let me link the video as well. So Gamers Nexus, which if anyone in the gaming / PC tech online industry knows, they're very big in reviewing parts and stuff like that and builds and companies. So NZXT has been a big part of their advertisement since NZXT was around, and they've completely banned any advertisement of NZXT on their stuff moving forward because of this, because of how bad this is. So this is the reply or the statement from NZXT. This is whose story is this? Emma Roth on The Verge. After a long video published over the weekend by Gamers Nexus called NXT's Flex PC rental program is a scam, the company responded Tuesday with a statement titled addressing your concerns about the Flex subscription program. I want to acknowledge that we messed up, promising changes like making the names of PCs available for rent or purchase easier to tell apart. Let me see. Not only then Gamers Nexus did another response to this. All right, let's go one thing at a time here. One thing at a time. Let's go back. What else did they say? They didn't really go off. I guess that's all they said in the NZXT statement. How long is this? 6 minutes to address an hour-long video. The two main actions NZXT says it's taking are on PC names, like switching the names of its Player One rental PC to Flex One subscription, and influencer campaigns where the statements did not accurately reflect the details of our NZXT Flex program. NZXT says it has pulled all of its influencer-led advertising while it updates. So they're just updating the language. So they're not even like trying to change any of the program. They're just updating the language here, which is insane. So what did Gamers Nexus say here? So NZXT has posted a statement which not only misrepresents the facts, but distorts the reality of their predatory rental computer program. The statement ignores major points and introduces several new concerns. Gamers Nexus has become aware of deeper elements connected to the story that they have become independently investigating. While we will put together coverage of NZXT adequate and manipulative response in short order, also actively beginning work on a longer form investigation that could take weeks or months to finalize. Depending on the depth of the rabbit hole, we will have more. Okay, that makes sense. Because they did allude in the video somewhere that NZXT CEO has started like working with and speaking to a lot of like a lot of weird other like CEOs and stuff like that. I forget, what were the brands? Hold on, let me go back. It's in the video. There was like other companies that were like why are you talking to these people? Here it is. A group of investors includes the co-founder of Twitch, the co-founder of Rotten Tomatoes, co-founder of Crunchyroll, co-founder and CEO of Fitbit, founder of Hypebeast, and president of Pokeworks. So like, why? So they will not keep any hard drive info? I doubt that they're gonna adhere to that, because if they could say whatever they want. If they don't change the actual legalese in the terms and conditions, they could still do it. So this is pretty insane for them to do. So no more NZXT stuff. Like, this is wild. This is such an insane thing for a gaming company to do. Hopefully this gets rectified soon. But yeah, we're not going to be promoting any NZXT stuff anytime soon. All right, a couple stories left. Go through them pretty quickly. So an update from the from Diablo 4 developers that they're not backing down on co-op content. This is Game Rant, and it is Derek Nichols. TLDR, they're all behind the co-op only stuff, or the group only stuff. Even though all these solo players are like, why would I do that? You're ruining my game. I can't do these things that are required because I don't have people to play with, or I don't want to play with people. I just want to play by myself, which is valid. It's totally valid. You should be able to play the full version of the game however you want. But unfortunately, they're still going forward with all this co-op exclusive content, which again is not the biggest deal for us in this here community, because there's too many Deebsers out here that we don't even notice it. But unfortunately for solo players, it's going to be a struggle moving forward because they're going to be locked out of a lot of content. We'll see what happens. Last story we're going to be talking about, a little bit of a sensitive story, but we're going to talk about it. This is on Forbes. This is Antonio Pequeño the Fourth. What a great name that is. The original article was on Bloomberg. So let me link that as well, if it'll let me. Here we go. It's originally Cecilia D'Anastasio on Bloomberg. But obviously, unfortunately, cannot read Bloomberg stories. So AT&T JP Morgan reportedly stopped advertising on Twitch because they're saying Twitch supports anti-Semitism and is not doing anything about people being anti-Semitic on Twitch, on the platform. Which, obviously, anyone being legitimately anti-Semitic should not be on the platform, which I agree with. And Twitch should take action against those people. But where's the backlash to people being super racist or super sexist on Twitch? You know what I'm saying? They have no problem with those other groups being hated on the platform. Specifically, anti-Semitism is the last straw, according to them. The three brands pulled ads from Amazon-owned platform after it and one of its most popular streamers, Hassan, were accused of anti-Semitism over streams from Pike regarding Israel's invasion of Gaza. So Hassan has been getting a lot of shit, a lot of shit lately for just speaking his truth, which is a little weird, and we won't get too deep into it. But if you look up clips, videos, you can see for yourself what the things that are being said and done to and about him, and you can make up your own decision about what's going on here. I'm just here saying that this is what AT&T and JP Morgan have done, and this is their decision. This is as of a couple days ago, so Hassan's been out talking about this specifically and other news stories. We'll see if this gets reversed or if other companies start doing the same thing. And if they do, what's going to happen to Hassan's stuff and other creators like him? Are they going to still be on the platform? Are they not going to be? It's we'll see what happens. This is not for me to make any sort of intelligent judgment about. But that's going to be it for today. That was the last story. We went through it fairly quickly considering it was 2 weeks worth of stuff. Definitely nice that we did it under an hour. We're going to move on to games in a minute here, but you guys have been great as usual today. Thank you so much for the chat picks and the news suggestions. If you or anyone you know wants to talk about gaming new stuff, check out the links in the chat. If I know how to spell the command, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, TikTok. Put your stuff in the comments. Join the Discord to put your stuff in the Discord thread of gaming news, because that's where we're getting these from. Or just watch it and don't do anything. That's cool too. Whatever you want. That's gonna be it for me for this week for Casual Gaming News. We should be, as of now, caught up and on our regularly weekly schedule. Guys, you're the best. I'm gonna be away from I'm gonna be not behind the logo this time.